Okay, let's talk about that feeling. You know the one?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're standing at the base of this huge mountain, right? But it's not rocking trees.
No, it's emails. It's Slack messages pinging constantly.
Yes. And those half-finished projects just staring at you.
Yeah.
And that little hum in the back of your mind, that nagging feeling.
But you're definitely forgetting something important.
Absolutely. It's always there.
Yeah, we often call that brain clutter. And it's more than just annoying. It's heavy.
It really is. It feels like a weight.
It does. It just sits there, drains your energy, makes it hard to focus on what's right in front of you. It really steals your peace of mind, doesn't it?
Totally. You feel frantic, but also kind of stuck.
Busy, but not productive.
Exactly. And the crazy thing is, the tools we use to try and manage this, like our to-do lists, they often make it worse.
Right. They're supposed to help, supposed to bring clarity.
Yeah, give us a path forward, but then they just morph into these like giant monuments to everything we haven't managed to do yet.
It's true. They become sources of stress themselves. You look at this massive list, and it just triggers anxiety.
And that feeling of paralysis, where do you even start? There's just too much, so you end up maybe doing nothing really meaningful.
You just freeze up. So the intended solution, the list, it becomes part of the cycle of overwhelm.
So that's what we're diving into today. We want to unpack why managing or trying to manage all these tasks feels so incredibly stressful.
And more importantly, what we can actually do about it. We've got some really practical strategies lined up.
Yeah, things you can actually use to simplify things, clear out some of that brain clutter, and hopefully find a bit more peace, maybe even more effectiveness.
And it's not about finding some magic bullet to do more. That's not the goal here.
No, it's about figuring out how to do the right things, the important things, and maybe letting some of the other stuff go.
It's about shifting from constantly reacting to everything flying at you.
Which is exhausting.
Totally exhausting. Shifting from that to being really intentional, really deliberate about where you put your time and energy. Because those are finite resources, right?
So finite. Okay, so let's get into the why. Why does it feel like we're constantly juggling too much? What's behind this overwhelm?
Well, a big part of it is just the sheer volume. The number of decisions we have to make every single day is, frankly, astonishing.
How many are we talking about?
Some studies suggest it could be as high as 35,000 decisions a day.
35,000! Seriously?
Seriously. And that's not just the big work decisions, strategy and projects.
No, it's everything.
Everything. Should I hit snooze? What I'm going to wear? Coffee or tea? Which route to work? Check email now or later? How do I reply to that text? What's for dinner?
Wow. When you list it like that?
It's endless, isn't it? Our brains are just constantly processing options, weighing things up, making choices.
And even the tiny ones, the ones that seem totally insignificant, they still take mental energy.
Exactly. Every single one chips away at your cognitive resources. It's a cumulative effect, like lots of tiny drains adding up.
And if you try to hold all those maybe tasks and decisions in your head, forget it.
Or even if you just dump them onto a list with no real order or priority, that list just becomes a reflection of the chaos, not a tool to manage it.
Right. It just makes the volume feel even more daunting because there's no clear path through it.
Yeah, you spend more time stressed about the list itself, the work about work, organizing it, remembering it, rereading it, than actually doing the things on it.
Which brings us neatly to this idea of decision fatigue. That sounds pretty critical here.
Oh, absolutely. Decision fatigue is a real thing, very well documented.
Okay, break it down for us. What is it exactly?
Think of your ability to make good, reasoned decisions like a muscle. The more you use it throughout the day, making all those thousands of choices.
The more tired it gets.
Precisely, it gets fatigued. And just like a tired muscle, its performance deteriorates. The quality of the decisions you make later in the day starts to drop off.
So after wrestling with, work problems and emails and what to have for lunch, by late afternoon, your brain's just worn out.
Worn out for decision making, yeah.
Yeah.
Your ability to be rational, deliberate, thoughtful, it starts to erode.
And how does that actually show up? What are the symptoms?
Well, they probably sound pretty familiar if you've ever felt really stressed or overwhelmed. Procrastination is a big one.
Putting things off because you just can't face another decision.
Exactly. Or you might become more impulsive. You just make a quick, maybe not great choice just to get it over with. Get it off your plate.
Yeah, I recognize that.
Or the opposite happens, total indecision. You feel stuck, unable to move forward on anything big or small. Avoidance is another one.
And when your brain is tired like that, it starts looking for shortcuts, doesn't it? It doesn't have the energy for careful thought.
That's right. And the shortcuts can lead to choices you wouldn't normally make. Maybe you buy something impulsively you don't need.
Or snap at someone because patience requires too much effort.
Yes. Or you just grab whatever's easiest for dinner, even if it's unhealthy, because the thought of planning and cooking is just too much.
Or, like you said earlier, you just default to doing nothing on the important stuff, which only makes things worse later.
It really does. It's actually why you see really successful people often try to automate the small stuff.
Like wearing the same thing every day or eating the same breakfast.
Exactly. They're consciously trying to reduce the number of trivial decisions they have to make each day.
To save that precious mental energy, that decision-making power.
For the choices that really matter. The big rocks.
Makes sense. Okay, another huge factor, and this is one we sometimes even feel weirdly proud of, is multitasking.
The myth of multitasking. Yes. Our culture really glorifies it, doesn't it? Juggling a million things at once is seen as a skill.
We put it on our CVs, we praise people for it.
But the science is pretty clear. Our brains, they're just not built to handle multiple attention-requiring tasks at the exact same time effectively.
So when we think we're multitasking, what are we actually doing?
We're switching. Yeah. Rapidly switching our attention back and forth between tasks. You're not truly writing that email while listening intently to the meeting simultaneously.
Flicking between them.
Yes. And every single time you switch, there's a mental cost involved.
A cost. What kind of cost?
It's often called the context switching cost. Your brain has to, disengage from task A, load up all the info and context for task B, engage with task B, then maybe switch back.
And that takes time and energy each time.
It does. It takes cognitive resources. And research shows this constant switching can hammer your productivity, some studies say, by up to 40%.
Wow, 40%. That's huge.
It makes you slower overall, you make more mistakes, and your thinking isn't as deep or creative because you never really get into that focused flow state.
It's like trying to have a serious chat while scrolling your phone and watching TV.
Exactly. You end up doing all three things badly. You miss stuff in the conversation, you don't really follow the show, you don't really absorb the phone content, you just feel scattered and ineffective.
And probably more stressed because nothing feels properly finished or attended to.
Whereas single tasking, giving one thing your full, undivided attention for a set period, it actually turns out to be way more efficient.
Counterintuitive, but it makes sense. Deeper focus, better quality work.
And a greater sense of accomplishment and a mental calm when you actually finish something properly.
Okay, one more big trap before we get to solutions. This one feels very relevant. The trap of saying yes too often.
Oh, this is a major one. We take on too much. We agree to new tasks, new projects, requests from colleagues, social invitations, often without really stopping to think.
Without thinking about what it means for everything else on our plate.
Exactly. We don't consciously consider the cost in terms of our time, our energy, our existing priorities.
Why do we do that? Is it fear of missing out or not wanting to disappoint people?
It can be all of those things. Feeling obligated, worrying about appearances, but often it comes down to something simpler. We just forget that saying no is an option.
We forget we have the power to choose.
Yes. Someone once said, the ability to choose cannot be taken away or even given away. It can only be forgotten. We have that power. We just need to remember to use it.
That's powerful.
And here's the thing. Every single time you say yes to something new,
you're automatically saying no to something else.
Implicitly, yes. It's a trade-off. That time and energy has to come from somewhere. Where does it come from? Does it come from another important task? Does it come from your sleep, your exercise, your family time?
Often the things that really matter long term.
Very often. So if you don't proactively protect your time and energy and set your own priorities, you can be sure someone or something else will happily fill that vacuum for you.
And probably not in a way that serves your goals or your well-being.
Unlikely. You end up being busy, spread thin, but maybe not actually effective on the things that count.
Wow. Okay. That paints a clear picture of why we get so overwhelmed. The sheer volume, the decision fatigue, the multitasking myth, the yes trap. It all adds up.
It really does. It's a perfect storm for stress.
So, now for the crucial part. How do we fight back? What are the actual strategies we can use to simplify, to prioritize, to reclaim some control?
Well, if the problem is too many tasks and too many decisions leading to overwhelm, then the solution has to involve, reducing that volume and being way more deliberate about what gets your focus.
Starting with the infamous to-do list. We said it can be part of the problem, but how do we make it part of the solution?
The key is realizing that one giant messy list probably isn't the answer. You need a bit more system.
Okay. Like what?
Well, a really helpful approach is having different types of lists. Maybe you have a master list or a long-term someday maybe list. That's where you capture everything initially. Ideas, projects, tasks, work stuff, home stuff. Just get it all down.
The big brain dump.
Exactly. But then, and this is critical, you need a separate, much shorter, highly curated daily to-do list. This is your focus for today. Only the things you've consciously decided are the priorities for this day go on here.
And a core principle seems to be get everything out of your head. Don't try to remember it all.
Absolutely non-negotiable. Your brain is for having ideas, not for holding them. Trying to juggle tasks, appointments, reminders in your working memory is incredibly taxing and a major source of that brain clutter we talked about.
So write it all down, even the small stuff.
Yes, even things that only take a few minutes. Got an idea? Write it down. Someone asks you to do something. Write it down immediately. The tiny effort of writing it down is far less draining than the constant mental effort of trying to remember it, or the stress when you inevitably forget something.
Use whatever tool works, right? Notebook, app, task manager.
Whatever makes it easy and frictionless for you. Tools integrated with email, like turning an email into a task in Outlook or Gmail, can be really useful too. The important step is processing that thought or message into a clear, actionable item on your list system. Don't just let it linger in your inbox or your mind.
And that daily list needs structure, you said, not just a random collection.
Right. The master list can be a bit chaotic, but the daily list needs clarity. Some people sort by deadline, some by project context. A really effective way is simple prioritization. The most important or urgent thing for now is at the top.
And when something new and urgent comes in during the day,
you don't just tack it onto the bottom. You consciously decide where it fits in the priority order compared to everything else already on the list for today. You slot it in appropriately.
And delete things once they're done. Don't let the list get cluttered with completed items.
Yes. Keep it focused on what's next. That forward momentum is important psychologically.
Okay, this idea of being really deliberate about what even makes it onto the prioritized list, that sounds like it connects to a bigger philosophy you mentioned, essentialism.
Yes, essentialism. It's a concept from Greg McKeown's book, and it's really powerful. It goes way beyond just managing tasks.
It's more of a mindset.
It's a whole way of thinking, yeah. He calls it the disciplined pursuit of less. It's about consciously figuring out where you can make your absolute highest point of contribution, where your unique skills and energy can create the most value.
Whether that's at work or in your personal life.
Both. And then focusing your resources, your time, your energy, even your money relentlessly on those things.
So the core idea is distinguishing the vital few from the trivial many.
Exactly. Recognizing that most things that come across your radar, most opportunities, most requests, they're probably non-essential. They might seem good, maybe even interesting.
But they're not the things that truly matter most.
Right. They're part of the trivial many. Essentialism is about having the wisdom to identify the vital few and then the courage to cut away everything else.
That requires a big mental shift, doesn't it? And discipline. You mentioned learning to say no.
Learning to say no, gracefully but firmly, is absolutely central to essentialism. It requires accepting that you simply cannot do it all. You can't be everywhere. You can't pursue every opportunity. Every yes is a no to something else. So you have to make those trade-offs consciously.
It's about making deliberate choices instead of defaulting to yes.
And seeing decision-making itself as an act of cutting away. The word decide actually comes from Latin roots, meaning to cut off.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So when you make a truly essentialist decision, you are deliberately cutting away the non-essential options to focus your energy purely on what matters most.
Which also means protecting your core assets, right? Your time, energy, health.
Fiercely. You have to protect those things. Sometimes that means saying no to a perfectly good opportunity because saying yes would deplete the resources you need for something truly great. If you fill your schedule and your energy reserves with good enough, there's simply no room left for the exceptional.
That's a sobering thought. No room for the great stuff.
And this isn't just for individuals. Think about highly effective teams or companies. They usually have laser focus. They know their mission. They concentrate on the few key objectives that will make the biggest difference.
And they say no to projects or initiatives that are distractions, even if they seem tempting.
Exactly. They avoid getting spread too thin, becoming busy fools, just churning through low-value tasks without making real progress on the vital goals.
Okay, so essentialism provides the mindset focus on the vital few. How do we translate that into practical prioritization for our daily lists? We need some frameworks.
Right. Once you've captured everything and you're trying to think like an essentialist, you need tools to sort through it. A classic one is based on urgency and importance.
Often called the Eisenhower matrix, right? Though maybe not by name.
Exactly. You basically categorize tasks using those two dimensions. So you have four possibilities.
Urgent and important. These are the crises, the real deadlines. Got to deal with them now.
Right. Then you have important, but not urgent. This is crucial stuff like planning, relationship building, learning, exercise, preventative work.
The things that build long-term success and well-being, but don't scream for immediate attention.
Exactly. Then there's urgent, but not important. These are often interruptions, maybe some emails, requests from others that feel pressing, but don't actually align with your core goals.
The distractions disguised as emergencies.
Often, yes. And finally, not urgent and not important. The real time wasters, mindless scrolling, busy work.
And the key insight is where effective people spend their time.
It's in that important but not urgent quadrant. Most people get caught up firefighting in the urgent quadrants. But the people who feel in control and make real progress proactively schedule time for those important, non-urgent activities. They build the fire prevention systems instead of just constantly fighting fires.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so that's a high-level sorting method. What about structuring the actual daily list? You mentioned the 1-3-5 rule earlier.
Yes, the 1-3-5 rule is a very practical, tactical approach for the daily list. It's super simple.
What's the rule again?
The guideline is, each day, aim to accomplish one major task, 3 medium tasks, and 5 small tasks.
1 big thing, 3 medium things, 5 small things, 9 tasks total.
Exactly. And it works really well psychologically. First, it massively simplifies the decision of what to focus on, instead of staring at a potentially huge list and feeling overwhelmed.
You just need to identify those 9 key items for the day.
Right. It reduces that initial decision fatigue. And second, it leverages how our brains respond to accomplishment.
The dopamine hit from checking things off.
Precisely. Completing tasks feels good. It motivates us. The 1-3-5 structure gives you a mix of rewards throughout the day. That one major task gives you a really significant sense of achievement when it's done.
A big win.
A big win. The 3 medium tasks provide solid progress. And those 5 small tasks, maybe answering a specific email, making a quick call, tidying your workspace, they give you frequent smaller wins.
Keeps the momentum going.
Keeps the momentum and motivation flowing. You get that steady drip of dopamine.
And it's flexible, right? Not totally rigid.
Oh, absolutely. It's a guideline. If you have a day packed with meetings, maybe it's a 1-2-3 rule or whatever feels realistic. The point is to create a structured, manageable, and achievable set of priorities for the day, rather than just that endless, overwhelming scroll.
Okay, so we've captured tasks, adopted an essentialist mindset, prioritized using urgent, important thinking, and maybe structured the daily list with 1-3-5. Now, how do we actually execute? How do we get this stuff done effectively during the day?
Right. Knowing the priorities is just step one. Acting on them is where the rubber meets the road. One really powerful technique here is time blocking.
Or scheduling your tasks right into your calendar.
Yes, exactly. Don't just rely on the list. Go into your calendar and actually book appointments with yourself to do those prioritized tasks.
Even for smaller things.
Even if it's just 25 minutes, process priority emails, or 45 minutes, work on report outline, or 1 hour, deep work on major task #1.
What's the benefit of putting it in the calendar like that?
Several things. First, it really dials down the anxiety. If you know you have a dedicated slot for that task later today, you don't have to keep worrying about when you'll fit it in. It has its place.
Okay, that makes sense. Reduces the mental juggling.
And second, it ensures those important but not urgent tasks actually get done. The ones without immediate deadlines can easily get pushed aside indefinitely if you don't specifically allocate time for them.
As someone said, if it's not scheduled, it's not real.
Pretty much. You have to make the time, not just hope you'll find the time.
Another crucial technique seems to be working with your own energy levels, not against them.
Hugely important. We all have natural energy cycles throughout the day, times when we're sharp and focused, and times when we naturally dip.
You need some self-awareness there, right? Figure out your own rhythm.
Absolutely. Are you a morning person, hitting your peak focus mid-morning? Or do you get a second wind later in the afternoon? Pay attention to that.
And then match the task to the energy level.
Ideally, yes. Tackle your most demanding tasks, the ones needing deep concentration and heavy mental lifting during your peak energy periods.
Save the easier stuff for the energy troughs.
Right. Things like routine emails, admin tasks, less critical meetings. Slot those into times when you know your focus might naturally be lower. Trying to force deep work when you're feeling foggy is just inefficient and frustrating. Go with the flow of your energy.
This connects back to batching and single tasking too, which we talked about avoiding the multitasking myth.
Yes, they're very practical ways to manage energy and focus. Batching is about grouping similar tasks together.
So instead of checking email randomly all day,
Set aside maybe 2 or 3 specific blocks just for email processing, instead of making calls sporadically.
batch them into one focused session.
Exactly. Because every time you switch types of tasks from analysis to communication to creative work, your brain pays that context switching penalty. Batching minimizes those switches.
And while you're in a batch, you single task.
Yes. When it's email time, just do email. Close other programs, mute notifications if you can. Give that one type of task your full attention.
Better quality, probably faster, less mental drain.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It allows you to really engage and get into a rhythm, which is much more efficient and less stressful than constant juggling.
What about those tasks that just feel huge, overwhelmingly big projects on the list? How do you even start?
The eat the elephant problem. The key here is breaking it down.
One bite at a time.
Exactly. Take that intimidatingly large task and dissect it into smaller, much more manageable subtasks or steps.
So write big report becomes
Research phase, create outline, draft section 1, find graphics, draft section 2, edit first draft, final review, etc.
and then you can prioritize those smaller steps.
Yes. You add those smaller, less daunting items to your daily or weekly lists. Ticking off each small step feels achievable. It builds momentum, and it makes the whole giant project feel much less overwhelming.
That momentum piece feels really important, especially for getting started when you feel resistant. Is there a trick for just the beginning?
There is. A brilliantly simple but effective one is the 10-minute rule.
Okay, intrigued. The 10-minute rule.
If you're procrastinating on a task, if you feel that mental block, just commit to working on it for 10 minutes, only 10 minutes. Set a timer.
And tell yourself, that's all I have to do right now.
Exactly. Then, when the timer goes off, you stop.
Yeah.
And you ask yourself, okay, how do I feel? Do I want to keep going or do I want to stop?
And the magic is what?
The magic is that often the hardest part is just overcoming that initial inertia. Once you've actually started, even for just 10 minutes, the task usually feels less scary. You've built a tiny bit of momentum, and you often want to continue.
You've broken the smell of procrastination.
Precisely. And even if you do decide to stop after 10 minutes, hey, you still did 10 minutes. That's progress. It's a small win. Some people even use a 5-minute or 3-minute rule. The duration isn't as important as breaking that initial barrier.
Love that. So simple. Okay, to make single tasking and deep work actually possible, we have to talk about distractions. They're everywhere.
They are enemy number 1 for focus. Our digital world is designed for interruption.
So during those focused work blocks you schedule,
You have to be ruthless. Turn off the notifications. Phone on, silent and out of sight if possible. Close email. Shut down chat apps. Make it hard for those context-switching interruptions to break your concentration.
be intentionally unavailable for a bit.
For those high-focus periods, yes. You can be more available during lower focus times, like when you're doing that batch of emails, but protect those deep work blocks fiercely.
Makes sense. One last practical technique. Streamlining routine decisions.
Yeah, this goes back to conserving that precious decision-making energy we talked about with decision fatigue.
So automating the small stuff.
Exactly. Think about all the minor, repetitive decisions you make every day. What to wear, what's for breakfast, lunch, when to exercise, which way to the store.
They seem trivial, but they add up.
They add up and drain that mental battery. So if you can establish routines or defaults for these things, you put them on autopilot.
Like picking clothes the night before, eating the same healthy breakfast, having a set workout time.
All great examples. Each small decision you eliminate frees up a tiny bit of cognitive bandwidth. That energy can then be used for the harder problems, the creative thinking, the important choices where you really need your brain to be sharp. It reduces that low-level hum of constant choosing.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground on managing the external stuff, the lists, the schedule, the tasks. But what about the internal side? Our mindset, our stress levels?
Equally crucial. You can have the best systems in the world, but if you're internally frazzled, it's hard to make them work. This is where things like mindfulness come into play.
Mindfulness seems to be everywhere these days. How does it specifically help with task overwhelm?
Well, it's fundamentally about training your attention. Learning to be present in the moment, noticing your thoughts and feelings without automatically getting swept away by them.
So when you feel that wave of panic looking at your inbox,
Mindfulness helps you notice that feeling, there's that feeling of panic, without immediately reacting in the same old stressful way, like shutting down or getting frantic. It creates a little bit of space between the trigger and your response.
how does it do that?
It actually helps strengthen the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain involved in rational thinking and emotional regulation. So you build the capacity to observe the stress, observe the racing thoughts, and then choose a more considered, helpful response instead of just reacting on autopilot.
Can you integrate this into a busy workday? It sounds like something you need to go meditate for an hour to do.
Not at all. Small moments count. Just taking 3 conscious, deep breaths before you dive into a difficult task or join a meeting can make a difference.
Just a quick reset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or doing a quick body scan for tension, just noticing, wow, my shoulders are up by my ears, without judging it. Or even just paying full attention to the sensation of drinking your coffee for 30 seconds.
Bringing awareness to simple things.
These little mindful moments interrupt the mental chatter and ground you in the present, even briefly.
What about during tasks or meetings?
You can practice mindful listening in meetings, really focusing on the speaker instead of mentally rehearsing your to-do list. Use short breaks for a mindful walk or listening to music, consciously resetting your brain. And when you single task, try to do it mindfully. Fully engage with that task, notice when your mind wanders, which it will, and gently guide it back without criticizing yourself.
That awareness also helps with managing energy, you mentioned.
Yes, mindfulness increases self-awareness. You start to notice more clearly which activities genuinely energize you and which ones feel draining.
And you can't always avoid the draining ones.
No, but you can be more strategic. Maybe you schedule a short, energizing break right after a draining meeting. Or you consciously balance draining tasks with activities you find restorative. Regular breaks themselves, like using the Pomodoro technique with its short built-in breaks, or just getting up for a walk, they aren't wasted time.
They actually help maintain focus and prevent burnout.
Absolutely. And sometimes breakthroughs happen during those breaks, when your mind has a chance to relax and connect ideas differently. Being honest with yourself about your capacity, about what drains and energizes you, is key to avoiding that burnout cycle.
And one final piece for managing the load, if you're in a position to do it, is delegation.
A hugely powerful tool for lightening your own burden, if you have a team or even within a family context sometimes.
It requires trust, though, doesn't it? Letting go of control.
It does. It means trusting others to handle tasks or make decisions that you don't absolutely have to do yourself. Assigning tasks based on strengths, empowering people, even small things, like letting someone else pick the lunch spot or choose the music.
It's not just offloading, it's potentially empowering others, too.
Exactly. It frees up your mental space and energy for the tasks that truly require your unique input, while potentially developing other skills and fostering collaboration. It's a win-win when done well.
Okay, wow, we've covered a lot of strategies. Understanding the why, the capturing, the simplifying with essentialism, the prioritizing frameworks like urgent, important, and 1-3-5, the practical execution with time blocking, energy cycles, batching, breaking down tasks, the 10-minute rule, minimizing distractions, routines, plus the internal work with mindfulness, energy management, and delegation. So, why? Why do all this? What's the ultimate payoff?
The payoff is huge. It's about fundamentally changing your relationship with your work and your time. It leads directly to less stress, significantly less anxiety about everything you have
Let's
to do.
create a sense of control.
A genuine sense of control. And paradoxically, by focusing on less, on the vital few, you actually become far more productive and effective on the things that truly matter. You make real progress instead of just spinning your wheels.
And that feeling of actually completing things, checking them off that prioritized list.
That's incredibly powerful psychologically. That dopamine hit, that sense of accomplishment, it fuels your motivation. It feels good. It's the complete opposite of staring at an endless, overwhelming list with a feeling of despair.
So it's about shifting from being reactive
Letting your day be dictated by emails and interruptions and other people's agendas.
to being proactive, living by design.
Exactly. Making conscious, intentional choices about where your precious time and energy go. Aligning your actions with your values and priorities, both at work and in your personal life.
Yeah.
That's how you protect your well-being, avoid burnout, and build a life that feels more meaningful and manageable.
And it's important to remember this isn't about perfection, right? It's a practice.
Absolutely. This is a journey. You'll experiment. Some things will work better than others. Some days will still feel chaotic despite your best efforts. That's okay. The goal is continuous improvement, finding sustainable habits that work for you, not achieving some mythical state of perfect, effortless productivity every single day. Be kind to yourself in the process.
It's about progress, not perfection, building habits that support you long term.
Exactly. Habits that help you operate effectively, maintain your peace of mind, and show up as your best self more often than not.
Okay, so let's recap this deep dive. We started by understanding the roots of task, overwhelm, the sheer volume of decisions, the reality of decision fatigue, why multitasking is a myth, and how easily we fall into the trap of saying yes too much.
Then we moved into solutions. Strategies for simplifying and prioritizing, like better list management, embracing the core ideas of essentialism, focusing on the vital few, and using frameworks like urgent versus important and the practical 1-3-5 rule for daily planning.
We got tactical with techniques for effective workday management, time blocking tasks into your calendar, aligning work with your energy cycles, the power of batching similar tasks and true single tasking, breaking down overwhelming projects, using the 10-minute rule to overcome inertia, ruthlessly reducing distractions, and streamlining routine choices.
And we tied it all together by looking at the crucial role of well-being, using mindfulness to manage stress and stay present, managing your energy holistically, knowing your capacity, and leveraging delegation where possible.
So if there's one key takeaway from all this, what would it be?
I think it's that managing your tasks effectively, finding that peace amidst the busyness. It all boils down to making conscious, intentional choices. Choices about where you invest your limited time, your finite energy, and your precious attention. It's about deliberately focusing on what truly matters and letting go of the rest. That's how you unlock both higher performance and greater well-being.
Which leaves us with a really potent final thought to consider, something to mull over after listening.
If you truly commit to protecting your most essential assets, your time, your energy, your focus, your health, and you start bravely saying no to many of the good things that constantly clamor for your attention, what truly great thing might you finally have the space, the energy, and the focus to create, to build, or to accomplish?
Think about how those small, deliberate choices you make today, especially the choices about what not to do, don't just impact your productivity this week, but how they fundamentally shape the whole story of your life, your career, your impact over the long run.